Durban couple Piet and Nicole Hoffman were in Sandton on business.
When 𝗶𝗂𝗶𝗴𝗶𝘆's daughter, we didn't think he wasn't coming back.
It was the 26th of February. They had dinner at Trump's Grill in Nelson Mandela Square before heading back to their hotel in Grayston Drive. Unbeknown to them, they were being followed. As they turned into the Hydro Park Executive Suites, a white Mercedes-Benz was on their tail.
They drove in straight up here. So we went all the way around the car park and we reversed into this parking here. And they drove straight up here and came running and shot us in there.
Ex-policeman Piet was armed, but was only able to fire one shot into the floor of his own vehicle.
Nicole, what did you see?
I saw two people running towards us. The person that ran towards me had a balaclava on, but I could see his eyes and his nose and his mouth. And I dived underneath the dashboard, crawled up into a ball and shut my eyes. And it sounded like automatic weapon. It was bop, 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 and extremely loud. He had screamed and climbed out the car. And then I heard then it went quiet and I heard voices. And then somebody walked towards my side and buckled the door back. The car was not drivable after that. They actually physically buckled it back, grabbed me and robbed me of my jewelry, my handbag. And I kept my eyes closed and I just played dead. And then they left.
Piet was shot 7 times and died instantly.
And then I went to call Piet, and he was lying on the floor. And then I ran for help, and I was screaming for help, and there was nobody. There was no security. There was no one in the car park.
The killers stole Piet's gun and holster and his silver Rolex watch. Hydro Park is a residential block of flats, but some units are also rented out as executive hotel suites. Today's security is tight with electronic booms and guards. But on the night of the murder, there was just an open manual boom with no guards in sight.
Security is so tight today, but at that time apparently there was no security.
There was, but not as a reaction unit, so to speak.
But well, they drove in. Booms were up.
They followed them, I understand that, yeah.
Will Wallace is the Hydro Park facilities manager.
Well, how many incidents of armed robbery have taken place right here in the garage?
In the garage, there were 2.
But in addition to Piet's murder, we have security camera footage of 3 other armed robberies in the garage. In 2 of the cases, you can see the security guards beating a hasty retreat.
We've replaced the security company, but we've put in new cameras, we've put in the booms.
2 weeks after Piet's murder, there was a breakthrough. A joint task team arrested 3 armed suspects in Midrand after they robbed a Click store. 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀, 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝘀, and 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗆 are career criminals. Between them, they've been arrested 30 times in the last decade.
The 3 suspects arrested in Midrand were brought to Alexandra Township by the task force to search their homes. It was here they found evidence which Nicole believes links them to the murder of her husband.
I looked at the picture and I said, that looks like my husband's watch. It was even stopped on the time of his death, 20 to 11. And a Rolex stops 48 hours after you take it off your arm.
What else did you see in that photo?
2 other watches, a holster, a Mercedes key, some bullets. And underneath was written Hydro Executive Suites murder.
But when Nicole went to identify the watch at Sandton police station, she was shown a different watch.
It was a silver and gold Rolex with a blue face. I had shown him a picture of my husband's silver Submariner with a black face. I was told that all the watches that had been recovered from Skosana's house were fakes.
So what do you think happened to Piet's watch?
Nobody knows. The police say they don't know.
Law enforcement expert 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗃 Neves finds this inexcusable.
That incident is bizarre. The mere fact that there's evidence that an exhibit was recovered, photographed, identified, or provisionally identified, and then lost. There's no excuse for that.
Then someone claiming to be from crime intelligence phoned Nicole.
I'm looking into a matter where the watch of your husband was swapped.
Well, we don't know for a fact that it was his watch, but it looked like his watch, and yes, definitely the watches that are there now are not the same watch.
But the thing is, I'm looking more into the corruption matter of the police members.
Brigadier 𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗶𝗴𝗶 is the provincial police spokesperson.
The only thing that I'm prepared to say at this stage that there is a bigger project over and above this one investigation, which are looking into certain commonalities, be it the robbery where Rolex watches are involved. So we do not want to jeopardize this project. It's big.
According to police crime statistics, 58 people are murdered in South Africa every day. That means by next Sunday, another 406 people will lose their lives. It's a shocking reality, but what if the figures are actually higher? What if all murders are not recorded as murders? A few months after Pete's death, Nicole phoned Sandton police station for some information.
And I said to her, case 847, my husband's murder. And she said, but 847 case is not a murder, it's registered as a robbery.
Well, from the information that we have, Derek, 2 charges were registered on the case on the same day, just a minute apart. It was a robbery with firearm as well as a murder case.
But it was only after Mrs. Hoffman intervened.
Not according to what we have on the system.
And eventually I got a copy of the docket. The docket had inquest on it, and it was registered and then crossed out and written underneath murder.
There isn't a lawful reason why an apparent obvious murder docket should be opened as an inquest.
We've been told by a senior member that this is done to manipulate crime statistics.
Well, I cannot confirm or deny that. We tried to check on the system. We couldn't pick it up that it was ever registered as an inquest.
But a glaring omission from the system and the docket is a charge of attempted murder on Nicole herself.
So if there's an attempted murder that occurred and wasn't written up, then there's definitely something wrong.
But this case is full of red flags. The investigating officer didn't attend the post-mortem in the mortuary on the 27th of February. 3 bullets were found in Pete's body. The police only collected them 5 months later. The forensic officer also made a sworn affidavit that body number 412, Pete's body, was identified as being the body of one Martin Kokomoa.
A body from a murder scene is evidence. Although it gets buried or cremated afterwards, that is evidence. And the chain of custody is in the hands of the investigating officer to make sure that the body number, the case number, the identity particulars of the deceased is all intact and correct in the docket.
But there was one more bullet that could have been used as evidence, found lodged in the engine of the Hoffman's car by the panel beater.
I phoned and I phoned and I phoned and I said, they're waiting for you to come and fetch the bullet. They're waiting. Nobody went to go and fetch it.
The day after the murder, Nicole's handbag was found in Pretoria. The police never did any forensics on the bag. Months later, they located her stolen cell phone in Limpopo, but never went to get it.
I was also told by one of the person that has the docket currently that do I realize if they go and get the phone that most probably the person they have to arrest is not the perpetrator, and that's very awkward.
From an incorrect docket to not attending the post-mortem to not collecting essential forensic evidence, it seems Sandton police couldn't even do the basics right to investigate Pete's murder. Was it sheer incompetence or deliberate bungling?
Like I said, shortcomings were picked up by one of our senior investigators, who then escalated this docket to the province where it's currently being investigated.
Brigadier, can you understand Mrs. Hoffman's frustration?
I'm sure she's frustrated. I'm sure she's traumatized after having gone what she went through. But we want to assure her that we will do everything in our power to make sure that the suspects are apprehended and justice is served.
Derek, you don't have closure. If at least an investigation was done, I would feel like he could rest, and I could rest, and our family could rest. But knowing everything that I know, I feel like there has been tampering with evidence and defeating the ends of justice from the authorities that are supposed to protect us.